The Blue Angels in the air, and a narration by Lieutenant Matt Seaman on the Giant 68 KNBR. For the next 40 minutes, a lump in the throat. Pride in the Blue Angels. Now let's listen.
Maneuvers you will see demonstrated here this afternoon are coordinated tactical techniques developed by Navy and Marine pilots, both in peacetime training and actual combat. And now, directly before you, are the Blue Angels 1989. As they approach, let's watch how our two solo pilots detach on signal from Commander Moneymaker to set up for the first of their opposing maneuvers. Behind the spectator area, Blue Angels 5 and 6 are accelerating to 400 miles per hour and pulling back towards the flight line. To the left and right, our two solo pilots have turned their smoke on as they approach for the first of their opposing maneuvers. Ladies and gentlemen, the opposing 360 pass. Slow-speed flight. They will give you an opportunity to take a close look at that very minimum 36-inch wingtip to canopy separation that exists between these four aircraft. From the right, the Blue Angel Diamond. Sensation of weightlessness or ballistic flight, similar to that experienced by our astronauts in space, will now be felt by our two solo pilots. Approaching center point, Lieutenant Commander Skelton and Lieutenant Braun will roll their aircraft to a 90-degree angle of bank and push forward on the stick as they perform the opposing knife-edge pass. Approaching for a maneuver I'm sure is familiar to many of you who might have seen the Blue Angels perform in the past. From the right, at 400 miles per hour, the Diamond Roll. All four aircraft rolling as one in this graceful 360-degree rolling maneuver. Over the top, you get a plan-form view of the tight Blue Angel Diamond. Two solo pilots are approaching the flight line once again, this time to demonstrate the inverted flight capabilities of these FA-18s. Approaching from the left and right, they will roll their aircraft 180 degrees and cross over center point upside down. The opposing inverted pass. The four Diamond pilots are setting up for their next maneuver, the Diamond Aileron Roll. Approaching center point, all four pilots on signal from Commander Moneymaker will roll their aircraft 360 degrees simultaneously. From the left, a very precise Diamond Aileron Roll. time, Lieutenant Commander Skelton from the left and Lieutenant Braun from behind the spectator area. Let's watch as Lieutenant Commander Skelton performs a maximum performance, minimum radius afterburner turn. Slow-speed flight is just as important as high-speed flight. In order to demonstrate the dirty, slow-speed handling characteristics of these McDonnell Douglas FA-18s, Commander Moneymaker has called for the extension of the landing gear and tail hooks as they perform team in the world today. From the left, at less than 250 miles per hour, the Diamond Dirty Loop. And enthusiasts who understand the difficult transition from the cruise to the landing configuration will appreciate this next maneuver demonstrated by our two solo pilots. To the right, Lieutenant Commander Skelton and Lieutenant Braun have established a mirror image formation. But look closely, for both aircraft are in the carrier landing configuration as they approach for a maneuver we call the Fortis. Four Diamond pilots approach once again. You should notice two significant modifications. While Blue Angels 2 and 3 still maintain that minimum wingtip to canopy separation, the flight leader and slot pilot are both upside down. From the right, a Blue Angel double farvel. The spectator area. Blue Angels 5 and 6 are approaching the flight line in a line abreast formation. Approaching center point, they will be performing a maneuver to demonstrate the turn radius of these FA. Ladies and gentlemen, the opposing minimum radius turn. Now let's watch as both pilots sustain 6 times the pull of gravity required to cross their aircraft over center point. 45-degree bearing line to establish a right echelon formation. From the right, at 350 miles per hour, the Blue Angel Echelon Parade. For their next maneuver, Blue Angels 5 and 6 are approaching the flight line in a line abreast formation directly before us. Approaching center point, they will roll their aircraft 270 degrees and cross with minimum separation. Directly before you, the tuck-away cross. To the left, the 4 Diamond pilots are still maintaining that right echelon formation. Approaching center point, Commander Moneymaker will commence a climb and a 360-degree rolling maneuver. After 270 degrees of roll, they will smoothly shift the formation back into the traditional Blue Angel Diamond. This is the changeover roll, a precise transition from echelon against the beautiful California sky. Completing the changeover roll to the right. Let's watch as they climb into the vertical to set up for their next maneuver. The 5-plane line of... Blue Angel 6 has your attention, and you've seen firsthand the ability of a small aircraft at high speed to sneak into a target area virtually undetected. Lieutenant Commander Skelton will complete his rendezvous with the Diamond to our right. Lieutenant Commander Skelton has joined the Diamond in the line abreast formation. Approaching center point, they'll climb straight up in the vertical, experiencing heavy G's as the airspeed dissipates. Still maintaining that minimum separation, the pilots must now align themselves by looking 90 degrees from the flight path towards Commander Moneymaker's aircraft. To 7,000 feet, the power is eased as the aircraft round out the backside of this 5-plane line abreast loop. Climbing into the vertical, Commander Moneymaker calls for another formation change prior to detaching Blue Angel number 5. Let's watch as Lieutenant Commander Skelton separates from the formation and performs a split S reversal turn back towards the flight line. Our 2 solo pilots are setting up to demonstrate the low and high-speed capabilities of the Hornet in the clean configuration. From the left, Lieutenant Braun will pass before you, virtually standing Blue Angel number 6 on its tail. at less than 130 miles per hour. The state-of-the-art flight controls provide slow-speed handling second to none. In a graphic display of slow and high-speed characteristics, Lieutenant Commander Skelton in Blue Angel number 5 will overtake him at more than 600 miles per hour. From the left, the Blue Angel slow fast pass. Before us, Commander Moneymaker is rolling out the diamond formation for a head-on maneuver. Approaching center point, he'll climb the formation straight up in the vertical. Reaching 90 degrees nose up, the diamond will split with all 4 aircraft exiting in separate directions. Ladies and gentlemen, the Blue Angel vertical brake. Several flight profiles of these Hornets. Our 2 solo pilots will now demonstrate roll rate control. Approaching center point, they will roll their aircraft 360 degrees, pausing after each 90 degrees of roll and crossing over center point in the inverted position. The opposing 4-point hesitation roll. Pilots are setting up for one of their more difficult and dynamic rolling maneuvers, the tuck under brake. Approaching in left echelon formation, each pilot will roll his aircraft 270 degrees in ripple fashion, take separation, and rejoin Commander Moneymaker in the diamond formation. To the left and right, Lieutenant Commander Skelton and Lieutenant Braun are setting up for their next maneuver, the opposing horizontal rolls. In order to demonstrate the tactical roll rate of these McDonnell Douglas FA-18s, our 2 solo pilots crossing over center point will perform a series of maximum stick deflection horizontal rolls. Before us, Commander Moneymaker is rolling out the diamond formation for another head-on maneuver, the Blue Angel low brake cross. Approaching center point, each pilot will perform an individual brake turn and exit the flight line in a separate direction. Now, let's watch as Commander Moneymaker calls, ready, brake. accelerated his aircraft to 500 miles per hour. We'll perform a reversal turn back towards the flight line. The individual smoke trails as all 4 pilots converge with maximum speed and minimum separation. If you look closely, you'll see that both aircraft are upside down. The double tuck-over roll. F-18 Hornet. It is the first naval jet, designated as both a fighter and attack aircraft. This rugged tactical jet has earned an unparalleled reputation for dependability, reliability, and weapon accuracy. It is built by the McDonnell Aircraft Company in conjunction with the Northrop and Hughes corporations. Commander Moneymaker has now called for our 2 solo pilots to join the Diamond for the Delta aerobatic portion of our flight demonstration. From the right, at 400 miles per hour, the Delta roll. All 5 wingmen maintaining position on the leader as they roll 360 degrees over center point. Over the top, you get a plan-formed view of the Blue Angel Delta formation. To the left, Commander Moneymaker has elected to leave the smoke on so that we might watch how he brings the formation back to the flight line. As they commence their reversal turn, our 2 solo pilots will change the formation and maintain position on the wings of Lieutenant Commander Ziegler in the slot. This shift produces a formation we call the Double V. Very shortly, all 6 aircraft will be approaching for the Blue Angel fleur-de-lis. Salute to the residents of San Francisco and all of our very special friends here with us on this first weekend of Fleet Week. All 6 aircraft will separate, perform individual 360-degree rolls, and the 4 Diamond pilots will rendezvous through a vertical looping maneuver. From the left, at 450 miles per hour, the Blue Angel fleur-de-lis. Solo pilots exit to the right. The 3 wingmen are in the final stages of their rendezvous and will shortly be back on the wings of Commander Moneymaker in Blue Angel number 1. The fleur-de-lis rendezvous complete. The Diamond will pass before us and exit the flight line to the right. 2 solo pilots are rejoining the diamond for another Delta maneuver. As they rendezvous, let's watch this next reversal executed by the Blue Angel leader. Rolling the formation onto its back, Commander Moneymaker pulls the nose well below the horizon, rolling out on the flight line for their next maneuver, the Delta loop break. As they pass before us, you should get a good look at the Delta set used by the 5 wingmen. From the right, the Delta loop break. Commander Moneymaker tilts his head back, picking up the flight line here at San Francisco Bay. Over the top, he's floating the formation to put them directly over center point. Now, watch closely as Commander Moneymaker calls, smoke on, ready break. Each pilot will now accelerate his aircraft to 500 miles per hour and perform a 1/2 Cuban 8 reversal turn back towards the flight line. As they pull up and over the top, you should be able to follow the individual smoke trails as all 6 pilots simultaneously roll their aircraft 180 degrees so as to be headed back towards center point. This next maneuver carefully from 6 different directions with maximum speed and minimum separation. They'll converge on center point and cross with a combined closure rate of nearly 1,000 miles per hour. Demonstration pilots rendezvous for their final pass down the flight line. I would like to take this opportunity to introduce the 6 pilots you have been watching perform here this afternoon. Ladies and gentlemen, Flying Blue Angel number 1, the commanding officer and flight leader of the Blue Angels from San Francisco, California, Commander Pat Moneymaker. Flying Blue Angel number 2, the right wingman, our Marine Corps representative from Garden Grove, California, Captain Kevin Lawver. Flying Blue Angel number 3, the left wingman from Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, Lieutenant Commander Doug McLean. Flying Blue Angel number 4, the slot pilot from Syracuse, New York, Lieutenant Commander Mark Ziegler. Flying Blue Angel number 5, the lead solo from Coronado, California, Lieutenant Commander Cliff Skelton. Flying Blue Angel number 6, the opposing solo from Omaha, Nebraska, Lieutenant Lee Grawn. Ladies and gentlemen, the United States Navy Flight Demonstration Squadron represents a time-honored tradition of pride pride, professionalism, and excellence, spanning 78 years of naval aviation. From the right, the Blue Angels, 1989.
Dang.